Hello, welcome to the channel. I need to clear these out real quick and then I'm going to turn my newest compost here. So this is hopefully going to go really fast. It's really warm right now, really hot actually, and hopefully that shows up on camera. And that's what we're going for. Like the other day when I showed the hottest one. So they're getting cooking, and I've learned some things with this one that I didn't add basically, that the other ones I added. So real quick, I want to clear this out so you can see better when I turn it, and I'll add this to other compost probably. That makes really quick work of that. Dang road. Alright, as I was saying before the truck went by, that makes quick work of it, the scythe. So this is a new handle I had to make because the last one broke. So this is handle number 2 that I've made recently. The one wrapped in tape. It was too flimsy and the end wasn't made properly. So you can see the new handle and my new compost. So I'll add some of this grass to it, and I wanted to add I'll show you real quick, the smaller parts, because there's some carbon in here, but the main thing I want to get is the green. I want this nitrogen to get this cooking, well, keep it cooking hot. So I'm trying to get all the seeds cooked, and then another thing I'm trying to do is get the compost faster. So I'm running low on compost, and all of it has seeds, so the hot compost is hopefully going to make it quicker and seed free. And later on I won't worry about, like, maybe after I get it hot, I'll have the big parts, because I'll show you real quick. I'm picking pieces like this out of all the compost piles constantly, and this is the blackberries. It snaps like wood, and I think that's robbing the nitrogen as it's cooking, so I keep needing to add more and more nitrogen. And it's the same thing with wood, especially. That's way higher in carbon for nitrogen, and it takes even more to break down. But this stuff is enough that I want to take it out, and then eventually I can cook it all. I even have piles that I will like take some of this stuff out, but I'll leave a bunch of the junk in, and I'm calling them junk piles right now, but I'm not planning on turning them for a bit, and these ones I'll focus on. But oh, here, this is a bit of Scotch broom, so that's cooking, and that really won't do much in the pile now because it's high in carbon. And what I'll do is I'll throw it in the other piles where I put these. So I've just been piling them around for mulch, basically. They're not going to grow again once they decompose and dry out, especially. So this shouldn't grow, and I'll let it dry out some more too. Oh, actually I'm going to compost it more because there's seeds in there. So that's the whole point. So hopefully those seeds won't grow after this. But oh, and then here, this almost got decomposed because they get floppy, and if they're young and green enough, I'm probably going to keep putting them in, but the leaves disappear off of these, and then what's left, the other end, is older growth, so that takes forever to decompose. But this end will decompose when it's wet very fast. I guess that's the difference. Oh, real quick, I also have this knotweed. It grows like this, and this is drying out to where it's almost not going to grow again. it was growing out as I was composting, but once it turns like this, it definitely won't grow. This is what it looks like after it's composted for a while. It gets black, and that might be mold on there. The only mold I see in the garden tends to be in the compost, which is funny. Never in the mulch. But I'll go over that when I do the mulch video. But anyway, that is some of the stuff that goes on with the compost, and what I'm trying to basically remove all of this stuff. Anything that's really hard basically is carbon. So and I'm adding more nitrogen. In fact, I'm gonna just take the carbon here. Oh, there's no seeds in those pods even. So I'm gonna take this out and make sure it dries, but I don't think this will grow after it's composted like this. I believe another thing when it composts is it tends to dry out whatever is getting really hot. So if it gets hot, then it tends to dry out a lot of that plant that it touches. So that's where I think part of it is killing off the bigger parts just by drying them out. But those are easy to compost. They don't need a lot of heat. What needs a lot of heat to compost is the seeds. So this is kind of a little intro into what I've been learning about the compost. Smaller the better, and to start with the smaller bits is even best. Oh, real quick, one more quick thing, and then I'm going to start getting to turning and add some of the screen to it. I wanted to find a really big piece, but this is grass. So this almost is about the same as small blackberries, and it's just full of carbon, and it's taking a while to break down, even though this, you might be able to see, I think you can, the edge of Bob here. This has gone through so many composts, the nitrogen recharging cycles is what I could call it. I'm still pulling these out, these sticker bushes, and then same over here, here's the grass that's refusing to break down, and some of it does, but it's taking forever. And I can pull out handfuls, and I just throw them in a spot where I'm going to mulch with them later, whether it's a walkway or if it's full of this has still got nitrogen, I think, because it's been absorbing it. I think this would be great for if the smaller pieces would be good for the garden. So kind of on top, like I use wood chips, yeah, basically on top. So that's what I've been doing, pulling all that out, and even chunks of this is knotweed right here. So this was a big, huge cane. Some of them are like pretty big around, and yeah, that's all that's left of it. But I don't want it to last forever in there. Even if they're breaking apart, they're not breaking down fast. All right, with that said, let us begin. So if I find them, I'll just take them out and toss them in one of the piles that's closest. There's a third one over there. Seeing as it breaks down, a lot of these pieces get exposed, or I obviously have been missing some of them. Even when I make a brand new pile like this one, I started putting some of these in, but like this one looks pretty fresh. That might have been green when I first put it in, so most of it's gone, but that's kind of what's left. And I just, again, get rid of them. It's gonna slow things down. Forgot that pile over there. And if anyone's wondering, this is not mold, it's anaerobic bacteria just living in low oxygen environments. And if I don't turn it much, there's a lot of this, even more. But that's a good sign if you turn it. Like this is turned last two days ago, so I see steam coming right out of it, and that's the sign of life you want. See, here's a perfect example. Go around this side. In the progress, the leaves are starting to go. You can even see this is starting to discolor and dry out, and that's not likely to grow very much, if at all. And then here's the end, like rubber. So that's well on its way. That'll be more than half gone, and that's why I'm kind of leaving some of it in there, and then others I gotta pull out the bits. But this might have looked exactly the same as that one, and this just didn't get in the middle of the pile, or I added it later. Look at that piece I missed. Actually probably was green when I put it in there, but you see what happens. Why not? I'll put this bindweed in here, and maybe I'll show you later. Well, you won't be able to see it. In one or probably two turns, that'll be completely gone. Alright, and that's it. Hopefully you've seen it steaming. It was pretty warm as I turned it. Added a good amount of greens to it. I'll probably add more to it, because I think the main thing is, even if I pull all of this blackberries out of it, here's some of that grass that's actually green. So it doesn't even start out green. This is from last year, and that's why it's full of carbon. This probably has a little bit of nitrogen, and it actually feels like it's breaking down somewhat. So it's kind of like, oh, here's another one. This is grass. Feels more rubbery than that. So that's kind of what you're looking for. This one, that one's actually pretty good too. But that's my compost, and this is my newest pile right here. That was a sticker bush for sure. It stuck me. Anyway, this is my newest compost pile, and basically, I don't know, it's pretty fresh. It's a couple weeks old maybe, but I'm getting used to figuring out, like I said, the bigger stuff against the small stuff, and then pulling out all this carbon. And this one doesn't have as much of the carbon, obviously. It's not as bad if you don't put it in to start with, except for whatever green bits, little bits of green I'm putting in here. That's the only stuff I've been doing lately. So that's my compost. Hope you enjoy. Oh, and thank you for liking and subscribing. I do appreciate it. So I'll have to add this into my last video. The compost here is actually steaming very well, unlike the newer pile. I think you can see the corner of it, maybe not, but that last pile that I was doing wasn't quite like this. And that's what we're going for. Alright, I think that gives you the idea. That's some good compost. And adding more of the greens here, this is what'll keep it going. As long as I don't add any more big pieces. So that's what it should look like. That's what hopefully that other one will be next time I turn it. But I think another problem is this is a much larger volume. The other one, if it was completely compact like this, sinks down a lot. This is more than double, like more than probably quadruple the volume of that first one. So that's part of why it gets a lot hotter I think is how much bigger it is, and that's kind of the minimum size, the new one, where this one is probably 5 times bigger than you need, but it's better to have it double or 3 times the size because it shrinks down pretty fast, especially the more green you add. That stuff goes quick, and it turns into pretty much compost there. All right, and thank you for watching.